Welcome to Excel Mago. In this video, we are going to see 7 peculiar Excel functions. What I mean by peculiar is that these functions are less used, but can help you a lot when working with Excel. Let's get started. First, we have the len function. Len returns the number of bytes used to represent the characters in a text string. Let's say that we want to see how many characters we have in the email text string. So, we type len and we simply select the cell that we want to analyze. We close parenthesis and we hit enter. We can see that we have 22 characters that are actually 10 to the left, the @ sign, and then 11 characters for the domain name. Next, let's extract the email names. To do this, we can use the left function. The left function extracts a certain number of characters based on a specific criterion. In our case, we know that we have 10 characters in the left, so we can specify 10. We close parenthesis, and we hit enter, and there we are. We can see the names from each email address. Now, let's extract the domain names. To do so, we can use the right function. We are going to do exactly as we did for the left function, and this time specify the last 11 characters. Again, we close parenthesis, we hit enter, and we can now see the domain name for each seller party. Now, let's say that we want to combine text from multiple text cells. To do so, we use the concat function. For this function, we can simply select the first part of the text, add the and symbol. Then, we add quote space quote to have a space after the first text string. We can then add another and while selecting the second text string. Of course, if we want, we can continue to add as many text strings together, but for this exercise, we will only combine 2. We can close parenthesis and hit enter, and now we can see that we have the 2 texts combined in the same cell. Now, let's make a short break as we have a surprise for you. We want to thank you for subscribing to our channel and watching our videos. We also want to reward you for this by making you our VIP. This month's password is like 24. With this password, you can go to firemagos.com/VIP-area and access free resources created for you. Check out also the description of this video. Getting back to our peculiar Excel functions, we have here a list of 20 rows. But what if we had 2,000 or more, and we wanted to see the lowest value in the list without sorting or filtering? Well, we can do this with the help of the min function. This function is quite straightforward as we only need to type min, and then select the cells from where we want to identify the minimal value. We close parenthesis, we hit enter, and there we are. We identified the lowest value in the table. Let's do pretty much the same thing to identify the highest value in the column. As you can easily guess, we will apply the max function. Again, we will select the cells from where we want to identify the maximum value. We close parenthesis, we hit enter, and there we are. We identified the highest value in the table. Finally, let's see of my favorites. This is not a peculiar function, but a combination of 2 common functions, if and VLOOKUP. As we just identified the highest value, let's imagine that we want to see also where is that value and which is the rating percentage for that value. Before writing the functions, let's think about what we want to get. We want to see if the value is equal to the highest value. Then, we want Excel to check in the rating column for and show the percentage related to the highest value. So, we will start with the if function. The condition is if the value in the first cell is equal to the cell where we have the highest value. We add here an F4 to lock the cell as we plan to drag this one down and we don't want this reference to move. Let's continue with the VLOOKUP if the condition is true. We want to look up for the highest value. We select the 2 columns where we have the values and the percentages. We specify the column 2 for showing references, and then we add a 0 to use an exact match. We close the VLOOKUP parenthesis, then we close the if parenthesis, and we hit enter. We can see that we have false if the condition is not met, so if the value is not the highest, and we have the percentage in the location where we have the highest value. Please let us know in the comments below with how many of these functions you are already familiar with. We hope that you like this video and find it useful for you. If you did like it, please give us a like. Subscribe to our channels to support us making more videos for you. Thanks for watching and see you soon.